Welcome and good afternoon to the day two of ABC Conclave. We have Steve over here, right? And I'll just start with the gaming and everything, but let me introduce you to the man behind the Dream Quest, right? So he had a vision about how you can transform the gaming and iGaming industry, right? So over to you. How are you feeling over here? You were at the stage yesterday. You were the speaker,
Yes.
right? And how's the experience on day two?
Thank you. Well, it's been great. I mean, we've had a lot of activity. The stand has been packed with people. It was a little bit more than I was expecting. And we followed on stage just after Yatsu, so that was, as you imagine, pretty exciting.
thing, yes.
It's a big thing to follow after Yatsu, so that was great, yeah. And we did an introduction yesterday, as you probably saw. It was informing people of our transition from GameFi into what we call entertainment and transmedia. So the idea being it's not just about making game, but it's also about film, TV, cartoons, music, and we've been developing a number of products, and we announced some of that yesterday, so that was super exciting. It's been kind of kept secret for too long, and it was time to tell people what we were up to, so it was a good, exciting moment for us.
You just filled your chest with a lot of gems, and now you opened it after like 2 years.
Yeah, I felt like a leprechaun, right? Hiding my little box of gold and said, look, there's stuff inside. Yeah, it was very exciting. And just to tell people we've been working on a movie and we've actually reached the stage where we're pitching to film studios now that was a big deal. I mean, we really had been working on this for a long time and just kept it hidden from the public. People didn't know we had a children's book coming out and it's being published next year. We'd showed the samples of the stuffies that we've been developing for kids, which are really cute. So yeah, so it was really quite exciting just to be able to talk about these things for the first time.
Great. And talking about the entertainment part specifically, you're into games, the entertainment sector, cartoons, and everything. Also, the books, right? So how's this? How do you have the idea to go and touch each industry, and how they are different from each other?
It's a great question, and it's a simple answer. We have been blessed with an amazing team. Back when we formed the company 4 years ago, or launched the company 4 years ago, the two of us as co-founders had a friend of ours who was in the film industry in Hollywood, a guy who's worked on over 100 films. He lives in LA, and he joined us as a co-founder, and it was strategizing with him, and he said, we have this amazing story that we've been developing. We can do so much more with it. And then one thing leads to the next, and then as you hire people and you start attracting more people, we brought Hollywood writers onto our team. We brought a Grammy Award-winning composer onto our team, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, we have music now, we have a storyline, we have a children's book. So things kind of started with one thing and just led to the next and the next, and then we just kept going. The great thing about building all the mythology and the lore and the backstory was then you say, oh wait, now that we have this whole storyline, how do we connect the story to the game, to the book, to the film, to this, to that? So you start creating fandom. So our entire philosophy changed to building our fandom, our whole philosophy based on ancient knowledge, and then also working out how do we get that content out to the public, to the sharing economy, so that unlike the Marvels and the Disneys that lock all the content down and don't let anybody touch it, we said, what can we do different to start enabling influencers to be able to touch the content, monetize the content, and share that monetization as well as share that experience with us, because that's a distribution channel. And most people don't realize that actually having an influencer working with you is a distribution channel. So it's been a step-by-step process to recognize what we have and then build on it and then start telling people what we've been doing. But it's been kept under wraps for a really long time. Just had to reach a point where we had just enough to show and just enough to say, now we're going public with it, so yeah.
So you had a really good road where you picked up multiple puzzles, right? And just added with each other, and you just had a whole ecosystem of different segments of gaming and entertainment and books and everything. I would love to know the whole story of how it started and everything. Also, I got a chance to know that you are working with one of the writers from the Chronicles of Narnia, right? So how's that for you? Because I've seen that movie in my childhood, so that's a huge impact on my life.
So actually, it's not the writer; it's the executive producer.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, our third co-founder was the executive producer for Lord of the Rings, Chronicles of Narnia, and some hundreds of other films. And the writers on our team actually worked on the Journey to the Center of the Earth. They worked on the Scream franchise. One of them's a professor at the university teaching film school. So actually there's a lot of different depth of capability. Even our composer, he's worked on music for South Park, Penguins of Madagascar, Big Hero 6. He won 2 Grammy Awards. So we have this kind of really interesting mixture of people that we seem to attract because of what we're doing and because of the backstory. And then, once one person joins and hears what we're up to, then another contacts us and says, can I get involved? And we're like, well, okay. And it's just sort of happened like that. But
Yeah, really attractive. As you say the names of the movies and everything, I'm like, this, I've seen this, I've seen this, I've seen this. I'm like, these are the movies I've been watching from since very long time, and I really like the work. So, would love to see what DreamWorks have now.
Dream's Quest.
Yeah, Dream Quest.
Yeah.
Speaking about the iGaming, right? How's it the difference of not the traditional gaming, right, and working with the blockchain?
Yeah, well, actually, I think the most important thing is you have to recognize that it's super important to serve the Web 2 community at the same time that you also address the Web 3's needs.
Yes.
So we started at the very early stages 4 years ago to figure out how to synchronize content between a mobile phone and a blockchain. Because as you know, most of that's quite disconnected and it's very difficult to have real time in sync. But when we're building our game is a mobile-based game. So in that sense, we focus very much on building a AAA quality, high-end mobile game, Souls-like in many ways, that's open world RPGs. That's just for playability. Where the Web3 piece comes in is it's all about asset ownership, asset control. My inventory is my inventory, my items are mine, unlike the rest of the gaming industry where that's not possible. We're very much focused on not just game asset ownership, but there's so many other things we can also do, like fan-based tokens or NFTs for a film, or vouchers to go to an immersive experience. So there's multiple things we can do with blockchain. The thing is that if you look back, I'm just going to roll back for a second to a bit of history. In 1939, Marvel first formed their company, and when they started in the early days, all they could do was make comic books. Distribution was very difficult. The number one thing that transformed Marvel's ability to reach people wasn't just the fact that they decided to make cartoons and movies. It was the fact that suddenly they had the internet. And the internet was the technology shift that allowed them to go from, let's say, a small distribution to a major distribution environment. What's changed now is we have blockchain. We see that blockchain is the next technology enabler. So rather than run from it, we're embracing it, which is where the sharing economy comes in, because if we can allow content creators to share in the revenue streams that come from activities, and it can be done on chain. Can you imagine how much that can motivate people? It creates a distribution channel for us, it decentralizes our content, it still remains in our control to the degree that it's still IP, but it allows us to also share it with others, and that's where blockchain comes in as well. It's just opening up the floodgates to opportunity that most people don't even realize. And if you look around in blockchain and generally, most people aren't even tapped into the whole IP thing yet. They're just focusing, I make my game, I publish it myself, and we've taken a different approach. Let's step backwards, let's serve the Web 2 community as well, let's bring them into the whole thing, and then let's push the whole thing together, unify it, create an ecosystem that's Web 2 and Web 3 combined, and then leverage the technology that's there today to drive it out. And that's a very different strategic approach, but I think it's one that will probably work really well.
Yeah, instead of creating barriers and generating more friction for the Web2 users, you just let them fluently go in with their own inertia, right? And have all the people like Web2, Web3, any community can join in without any friction and enjoy the ecosystem, right?
Yes, you've got it exactly right, exactly.
Great. That's a lot of things to consume, right? And how's it been going at the exhibition? How was your pitch and everything?
Yeah, I mean, this has been a really good, conference. A little smaller than some of the others we've been to, like Token 2049 or AIBC, but really good attendance. We've met some really interesting people. Lots of people from around the world because that's Dubai, so you get a great mixture of people from Ecuador to India to US. So we've had a really just a great crowd, a lot of great vibe. As I mentioned, Yatsu is here from Animoca, so that was exciting. That brought up a lot of attention and enthusiasm. So it's been a really good good conference. A little quiet. It's a Saturday today. People want to be relaxing. They don't want to come in. So it's a bit quieter today, but yesterday was really phenomenal.
Yeah, it was a blast yesterday, I guess.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. This is the end of this conversation. I'm just let him leave and relax for a bit. And thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your insights. And I hope to see the stuffed toys you've been talking about, the merchandise and everything. And also, I'll grab some for my